Welcome to Farmers Universe. In this podcast, we'll create content based on people and facts, which can inspire and help you in improving your farm performance. A successful weaning of calves can be a tricky nut to crack, but today in Farmers Universe, we will try to give you some input on how to succeed. I have invited Per Theilgaard, who is a technical manager at Vilofoss, today in this third episode of Farmers Universe. Welcome to Farmers Universe, Per.
Thank you very much, Jacob.
And how are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
So, successful weaning of calves. Could you give me and the listeners a better understanding in why weaning of calves can be a challenge for farmers?
Yes. The weaning of calves is a really a challenging period. And it's challenging as the calf, they are going from the liquid milk feeding and then they're going to solid feeding. And we know that in this time period, the immune function is usually lower. And lower immune function has the consequence of a higher frequency of diarrhea, more treatment for coccidia, we get more lung disease, lower immune system, also decrease the production results. So we know that, for example, a calf we can have an infection around weaning will have lower production result at the slaughtering. And second, we also know for female calf that if they had an infection in early life, they might really have a lower milk yield as adult animal. So it have an impact for just a period, but also in the long run.
Okay, so a very important topic we have to discuss today. How do you work with weaning of calves in Vilofoss and in the DLG group in general?
Right. Yes, there's really many aspects of this weaning. It's multifactorial. So, of course, there's some management thing you need to do good. You need to have the calf in a dry environment. You need to be sure the air is good. And there's a lot of things you need to think about there. Our entrance to this is the nutritional. And we want to close this gap in this lower immunity we have here in this period. And where we have looked into to this is actually do supplementation of vitamin E. That has been our very, very big focus. And why the vitamin E? That has been chosen because it's kind of a mirror of the immune status of the animal. So if the vitamin E in the plasma is high, then we know, well, this calf can be strong. She have a lot of antioxidants in her body, and she will have a strong immune system, and she will have fewer infections. But supplementing vitamin E in this period can be very challenging and very difficult. So that's why it has never really been solved. There's a lot of interesting things with the vitamin E, and also because they come in a lot of different forms, and each form have a different mode of action or efficiency. To go a bit more into this, we have worked on this maybe for around 8 years.
That's a long time.
It is a long time, yeah. So we have really worked with it for a period here. And what we started up with was kind of having a lot of focus on vitamin E, but especially on the natural form. And the natural form of vitamin E differ from the commercial form of vitamin E. The natural form of vitamin E is the form of vitamin E we find in the nature, that we find in the plant, in the grass, and so on. But the commercial one, the one we usually buy from a synthetic lab, is different because that includes a lot of other forms of vitamin. It's still vitamin E, but they exist in a different form, which does not have the same efficient absorption. So this is
So many types of vitamin E.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically, where they differ, it is there are 3 spots. Now we're getting a bit technical, but
Yeah,
there's
that's
3 spots on this molecule, the vitamin E, where it can have a different. They can look different. So the weight of this molecule will be the same, but you need to look into it visual to see if it's a left or a right, the way the molecule are looked into here.
I totally understand why you're the technical manager in Vilofoss at the moment, Per.
Yeah. And the thing is that when you buy the natural form of vitamin E, there exist 8 different forms where in equal quantity, so it's 12.5% of each different form of vitamin E, and only one part of this is a natural form. So 12.5% of the commercial vitamin E is what we call natural vitamin E. Natural vitamin E had a much higher absorption compared to all the other forms. So it's like when you have a hand and you have a glove, that it needs to go hand in hand so it can be absorbed. And we know that especially the ruminants, the cow and the calves, have a bigger difference in absorbing the forms which are not natural compared to, for example, pigs or other forms. So when we're talking ruminants, it's very important that it is in the natural form of vitamin E.
So, Per, that was some kind of the early work you were doing in Vilofoss and DLG. Could you tell us more about the research and the founds you have been made over the past years, and maybe some of the collabs?
Yeah. The thing is, there is a lot of other people who also have worked with this problem in increasing the vitamin E level here in the weaning period. So we kind of got together, and the other parts were Aarhus University. It was the LVK veterinary group. It was a slaughter calf advisory service, slagterkalverådgivning, DLG, and Vilofoss. So there was a lot of people been working with this. But bringing in this group, first of all, we were able to obtain some funding to do a lot of trial work, and also we could bring some very good idea into this game. So Aarhus University, they had some ideas how to bring this idea with the vitamin up in an even better product. And the LVK veterinarians, well, they were the ones who took the blood sampling when we were doing the test, and the advisors, they were doing the weight of the animals to see the production controls. And then Vilofoss and DLG, we had the task to physically produce this component. And well, to go a bit details into what we were doing here. We were still working with the natural form of vitamin E. But there's other aspect of that even further, because usually a commercial form of natural form of vitamin E is protected, so it not get oxidated. So that means that we can have a protected form of natural form of vitamin E on our storage for years, and it will still be there. You can still find it when you analyze it for it. One problem with that is that this protection can be so strong that the vitamin E will go through the calf. So we need to use a form which did not have this protection. And when I say protection, it's actually...
You're telling me that it has to be protected, but not too protected.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The thing is that the calf is not able to absorb it as long it is in this protected form. And just at weaning, it can be very difficult for the calf to get rid of this protection so she can absorb the vitamin. So we only use the unprotected form in this trial. So it was ready and could be absorbed by the calf immediately. But the problem was then, if you use an unprotected form, then it might get oxidated. So we need to protect the vitamin E in a different way. And here we made a fat matrix, which covered the vitamin E, so it protected it from oxidation. So it's a special fat we are using to protect the vitamin E, and that was the idea we wanted to test.
And could you tell us what the results on these trials and tests were telling us or showing?
Yes. Well, we did several tests. One of them was to look into if it was stable. So we produced this pellet, this material out of the feed, and we just left it for a long time, and we could see we could easily find it again after half a year. So it was successful in protecting the vitamin E. Then the next question was if it was successful for the calf. So we supplemented the animals in a period from 3 weeks before weaning to 2 weeks after weaning, a total of 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And there we measured the plasma vitamin E level before we start to supplement anything. It was on the same level on both groups, on the control and on the group that have the special vitamin. And then we also measured it at weaning. And there we could see that the plasma level of vitamin E was much higher in the group which was supplemented with a special form of vitamin E. But the most important time point was after weaning, 2 weeks after weaning. And here we could see that the control group here had a very low level of vitamin E, whereas in the special vitamin E product here, we had more than double the level of vitamin E. And again, that demonstrate, well, if there comes any virus or infection, she can easily cope with that. She still has a lot of energy, a lot of a big forceful immune system.
So now we have a product that works actually in order to have a successful weaning.
Yes.
Or
yes, we have that.
Okay.
Yeah. So we tested here on the short time,
yeah.
But we also had tested on long run.
Yeah.
And here we looked into the slaughter data.
Yeah.
And here we could see that the animals who had this product around weaning, they had a higher daily gain. They had more body weight at slaughtering. They got a better classification of the meat. So we could see that that was working. And we have the product ready now. It's ready for sale, and it's already out there.
What is it called?
It's called EForce. Yeah, we have given it the name EForce, and the E is because it's all about vitamin E, and the force is because it's powerful, it's very efficient. So that's why we called it the EForce. And right now, it does exist in two forms. We have this concentrated product we call EForce, where we supplement it with 10 grams per day during this 5 weeks. And we also have another version of it where it's into the pellet. So the calf is having it through a much longer period. And if you use that solution, you do not need to mix the small quantity into the big amount of feed. So so it's not always possible to use one form, but then we can use one or another.
Yeah, and I know you have a good story to tell me regarding the EForce.
Yes, we are so proud to say that we got an award of this product at Eurotier. And first of all, Eurotier, that is most important fair when you're working with this agriculture.
Yeah, in Germany, right?
Yeah, it's in Germany, in Hanover. Every second year, we were so lucky that we got a silver medal and it's really significant. It's we're very proud.
But it's not only luck, is it?
No, it's not only luck. It is. I think it. The reason we got it. Well, first of all, it's an innovative product. It's new ideas, and we also have a very good documentation of it. So we have now we have a paper, a peer-reviewed paper, and we also have 2 other reports from SEGES. So we have really a lot of documentation, and I think the combination of that built up that we received this medal.
So a lot of benefits by using the EForce product. How is the sales going at the moment?
Well, it's just starting. The thing is that when you have a new product, then the farmer wanna try it.
And see how it works at the neighbor's farm, right?
Yes, exactly. So we need to convince the farmers also. So it takes time. So we need to go out to the farmer, discuss the product with them, discuss the benefit, and how can we use it here on his farm, and what do he expect to see. So we're using a lot of time on that.
But you think that EForce has a great future in agriculture?
I do. I think what we have seen is that the benefit we get here from now we just looked more into the slaughter calf. It is a very good benefit, and economically we saw that we had benefit on around €40, and the price of this is only about €2. So we really believe that there should be a big market for it. And well, so far we have mainly here been working in Denmark, and the next step is then to take it to other countries, and then we know again that we need to test it there. They want to see the result with their own eye. So it is a long process to have a product and then get it out on the market.
So not only a long process to actually get the product, but also it has a long perspective to implement it in farming as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. And until now, we have looked main into the calf, to the real calf. We also think it could be interesting to look more into the heifer, to the female calf, to see, because of course it should work there also. So we believe that it could be beneficial in basically all the time period where we have a depressed immune system. So that's the next thing also to see how does it work under different conditions. And we're looking very much forward to get more feedback from the farmers to see what were their experience, what was good, what was bad, and so on. Yeah, that's what we're working with on.
So Per, thank you very much for this debate and discussion regarding the vitamin E and the EForce product as well. Now we're going to the 5 for farmers, our 5 questions for you regarding how you see farming, and also some funny questions. Maybe you don't have the same questions as I have, because our colleague just answered me and wanted to switch some of them out, and maybe I have some other questions that you have been preparing, but let's see. So the first is, what is the most exciting experience you've had on a farm?
I think the most exciting experience I had was actually when I were in India. We went in India with Vilofoss. We're going there to promote some minerals. It was so different the way they were doing agriculture there, especially how they kept their animals. And it was very interesting for me to see how they managed to do the things there.
And the second question is, do you work on new projects at the moment?
Yes. Yes, we work on several new projects. I think the most important one for the moment is that we are working on feed additive to mitigate the enteric mason production from cattle. That is a very hot subject at the moment, and Vilofoss DLD are working on their own solution for this problem.
And the third question is, 3 things you bring with you on a deserted island.
Oh, that was a difficult one. Deserted island. Well, I think I will bring a knife, a pocket knife. I think that will be a useful under a lot
In
of
order to survive.
Yeah. I think a pillow would be good, so I could sleep well.
And a life jacket.
Yeah, life jacket, or maybe some matches so I can make a fire and make some food.
Or EForce.
Yeah.
And the fourth question, if you would be a farmer, what kind of farm would it be and in which country?
Well, I do like the cows and dairy. And in which country?
India, maybe?
Well, yeah. It was interesting in India. I do not think it's differ that much to me which country it was.
Okay.
No.
And the final question is, how was it to join Farmers Universe?
Well, I think it was interesting and good experience.
So maybe I could invite you again in the future?
Definitely. Yeah, I see forward to that.
Per, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.